So we have our sends all set up. I'm just going to go ahead and move this back over here. What we need to do next, we need to add a compressor and an EQ to each audio channel here. Here's our inserts. This is where we're going to access all our effects up here. It's up to you whether you have the compressor first and then the EQ, or the EQ first and then the compressor. They will yield slightly different results. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's up to your individual preference. So I'm going to go up here. This is Insert A. Okay. And you notice that I do still have all my audio channels. So I'm going to show you two ways to very quickly add a compressor and an EQ onto every audio channel at once. Once again, since I have those all selected, if I hold down my Option and my Shift keys and click on Insert A, right now it says no insert, I go to Plugin. There's all my EQ plugins. I have quite a few on my own personal computer. I am going to select EQ3 7 band. And this is the Pro Tools default EQ. For those of you using Pro Tools first, this will probably be the only EQ you have. So I select that, and because I held down Option Shift, that went ahead and I have an EQ on every single band on all my audio channels. Now, for the compressor, I'm going to show you a slightly different way. This one takes a little bit longer, but not much. I go to Insert, Plugin, I find Dynamics. That's where our compressors are, and you can see I have quite a few compressors in my arsenal. The Pro Tools default compressor is Dyne 3 compressor limiter. And I select that. It opens up this compressor limiter. Notice I only have it on one channel. But if I hold down my Option key and drag over to the next channel, it will copy it onto each and every audio channel. So we now have compressors set up on each and every channel and EQs. There's the EQ. There's the compressor. If you want to look at both of them at the same time, you can shift click and it will bring up all your different effects at the same time there. These are on the kick drum. What I recommend you do when you're starting out, because this is your first mix project, is you start out using some of the factory presets on your effects, and then you can tweak them depending on how you feel the sound of each one. So this is the kick drum. So right here I'm on the EQ. See where it says factory default? If I click there, there's my menu, and I go up to kick drum, and I actually have several different kick drum factory presets here. And I'm going to choose punchy kick. And you can see it added a few dBs onto the lower end, everything up to about 1K. And I can always adjust these, right? If I wanted to, say, bring a little bit down here at 500 hertz, I could do that. If I wanted to bring up, let's say a little bit at about 2.5K to get the sound of the beater, I could do that. But that's the advantage of starting out with a preset. Now I'm going to go over to the compressor, do the exact same thing. So you can see here I've got several different presets. There's kick thump, kick tight. I'm going to go for a tight kick here. And once again, it's the exact same thing. If I want to tweak things, like say I want to change the makeup gain, add a couple more dBs, something like that, I can do that. I'm on my snare now, so I'm going to go ahead. There's my EQ, find snare. They've got quite a few different snare presets. I'm going to just choose crisp snare, and you can see what it does is it basically adds some high end there. Some air is how we refer to it. Here's something I recommend that you do on many of your EQs, and that is activate your high pass filter. So here's my high pass filter right here. I turn it on by clicking that in button. And I'm going to change my, whoops, there it goes, and move the frequency over. I am basically cutting out all the frequencies below approximately 100 hertz. I can move it on over some more. So what this is going to do is it's going to cut out whatever kind of bleed you have on your snare from your kick drum and perhaps your toms too. Your things like your guitar tracks, your kick tracks, your hi-hat. I would recommend adding a high pass filter on all of those. Now we go to our compressor on the snare. Go to default. Let's see what we have here. We've got snare comp. Okay, there you go. That's the preset. I might want to change this once I start listening to my snare and adjusting the snare sound. So we're almost there at the end of this lesson. If you have any questions about this, you can post questions in the discussion board. You can also email me. Maybe what I'll do is I'll go ahead for one last thing and add the EQ and compressor on the hi-hat. So I go here. Oh, there's hi-hat presets. Oh, I'm going to add some sizzle. And once again, I'm going to turn on my high pass filter because I definitely don't have anything below maybe 200, 300, even 400 hertz on my hi-hat there. And I'm cutting out a lot of the bleed that you're going to get from some of the other drums, especially the kick drum, and maybe even a little bit from the snare there. If I bring it up to say, I don't know, 200 hertz or so. And that's going to clean up your mix considerably. Compressor, go to compressor. Let's see what our choices are. I don't see anything specifically for hi-hat, but I could just do drum compression. Of course, I will want to go ahead and tweak these controls. Now, remember, in digital audio, you don't ever want your signal to go over 0 dB. You want to remain in the negative range. So what you can do on any tracks that you're having that issue with is you can add a limiter, which is it's the same plugin, the Dyne 3 compressor limiter. They have things like presets like hard limiting. And what that is going to do is make sure that your track never goes above 0 dB. You can also do that on the master track. And whether it's on an individual track or your master track, your limiter should be the last effects plugin that you use on that track. Well, that about wraps it up here. Good luck setting up your mixing sessions. Once again, if you have questions, please contact me. I'm here to help. If it's something very, very serious that you just don't know how to do, I can always set up a Zoom meeting with you. Good luck and good mixing.